Last episode, we sailed to our first ever Hebridean anchorage. When we arrived, we noticed that it was a smaller and deeper anchorage than we'd anticipated, and with the local moorings being unavailable during the winter months, we anchored and hoped for a pleasant night's sleep.
Okay, well, our plans have changed a little bit. We are not staying here for a day in this anchorage. As beautiful as it is, the wind is just gusting over the hill and kept us up most of the night with about 28 to 29 knots of gusts.
And the moorings are shut.
And also the moorings aren't there, so we have to anchor. There wasn't enough room for us to anchor in and also have us swinging around. So when the wind started to gust up a little more, we just felt really uncomfortable. So pretty much we're just waiting until the light appeared, which is now, and we're going to head off. We're just heading out to the anchorage now. I know that I might sound really perky for this early in the morning, but I think it's actually, I'm putting on a bit of a front. I really don't want to go out today. I really don't want to go sailing. I think yesterday scarred me a little. I've probably been quite thoroughly useless on this passage because it was a bit of a wild one, and I didn't take any seasickness tablets this morning, so that's my fault. I have been thoroughly useless. Adam has been doing most of it. And as much as I was smiling then, it wasn't a very enjoyable day for somebody who has seasickness. But today the wind is meant to be dropping off, so we only have a small way to go, thankfully. We're going to go under the we're going to go under the bridge that leads to the Isle of Skye. What's the bridge called?
I don't know, I think it's
the Bridge of Skye. Skye Bridge. That would make sense. Oh dear.
It's 22. It's not a problem to have a gust like that, it's just when you're in a sort of really uncertain waters, you've got about 20 metres of uncertainty either side, and it's narrow, you're just like, just haven't got the water to be getting pushed around like this.
It's 31 knots. Seriously.
Narrow necessarily, but it is a channel. It's going to get a little dicey in there. At the moment, the tide should be with us, but the wind is against that, so who knows. Should be the best time to go today, other than in a calm. Downwind, we get the staysail up. By that I mean the engine goes.
Yep.
We can run downwind, we get the staysail happening, and then we have to sail to the nearest open harbour, get on the radio and try and get a tow or a pickup, alright?
Okay. Alright, we're doing about 2.7 knots, 3 knots through this small gap at about 2,200 RPM. So we're really powering it on the engine, and we're like making not much headway. And that's because it's gusting very, very high. Both a little nervous, so yeah, stay tuned. Although you couldn't actually tell that it's raining with all of this salt water and spray. Yep. That's 38 knots within 1 mile of land. That's honestly, the sound is just the sound is so much worse than everything sounds horrible. It feels horrible. This isn't just not a nice day. It's horrible. I was gonna say the sound is worse than it is, but it's really bad. It's that bad too.
Just looking up ahead, I feel like it's going to get worse when we come around this bend. For that second leg, we're going to do one more leg before we get under the bridge and into this sort of shut, protected-ish waters. I think it's going to be bad.
Oh, this is horrible. The bilge is like barely keeping up with the amount of salt water that's coming over the bow and into our chain locker, and I don't know, wherever else it's coming in. So it's keeping up, but I've also got the the manual bilge pump out and ready to go as well. So if I get the energy, I occasionally help and pump that as well. We got 5.1 miles until bridge, and then hopefully we can pull into a marina that's just after that. Yeah, if they have room, if we can even get on the dock. I don't want to be docking in this, but I don't know what else to do. Section now, and there's about 3 miles to go to the bridge. But this section is where the waves have been allowed to build up a little bit because there's not land on the other side. So once again, we're going into like bigger waves, and the wind is pretty well consistently above 40 knots now. I haven't seen a drop below 40 knots for a very long time. We've seen 48.7, that's the highest, but mainly just 42s, 43s. It's really crappy now. I need to say all of that again because I didn't press the record button with my super wet hands. We are wet, we are cold, but see the bridge, see the sky bridge. That means that we made the 18-mile passage down here. Oh god, that was probably the hardest 18 miles we've ever sailed. We hopefully can pull into the marina if the wind dies off a little more for us to go in. Otherwise it's trying to find another anchorage, but at least we're some of the way in the mainland. Oh my god!
Thank God.
Oh my god!
Thank you, Scotland, for the visitor moorings.
Oh my god. Oh, I'm so cold. And we just magically found some visitor moorings just off of the Sky Bridge. And it's like there's hardly any way.
Out there.
It's horrible.
If we had to keep going, it would have.
Oh my god. I don't even have words how grateful I am to see these moorings right now. We've just got one line on, so we need to get some feelings back in my hand and then put another line on. And I'm going downstairs and I'm going to put the heater on.
Sleep for a day or two.
This is so horrible. Well done. Whoa. Seriously, well done.
I was beginning to think we were just going to have to drive around in circles for 3 days.
I was thinking that too. Oh my god. Oh. So, next day, glorious weather, not a wave in sight, absolutely perfect sailing conditions. But Adam and I are not going absolutely anywhere. We've decided to just take a day to recover. And we were planning to just completely shut ourselves in, but we heard a little knock on the hull. We're like, oh, okay, right, must be somebody to come and collect money for the mooring ball. So we're like, hi, how's it going? And actually, it was somebody who watches our show, who knocked on the hull, David, and he came with a bottle of whiskey, our first Scotch whiskey. It's obviously I'm so excited, not just for the whiskey, but to also for such an absolutely warm welcome. This is apparently from just over here that we actually sailed past, which is really cool. So in a very local whiskey, that's our very first warmest of welcomes from our very first Scottish fan who's come to the boat.
And because it's just gone 12:40.
Oh yeah.
Welcome to Scotland.
Cheers.
Not the best glasses for the glasses, not the best cups for this. Oh, it smells good.
It's very nice. Well, it's a beautiful scene behind me, and I'm here pointing it in our grotty cockpit. Well, as much as I don't want to say it, we're off again. We've actually just had one day here just to kind of rest and recover from our experience. We've both kind of regrouped a little bit and figured out what went wrong, I guess, because Adam kept saying, and he'll join me after he stopped pottering. Adam kept saying, insert Adam.
What did I keep saying?
That you never usually mess up that badly.
Oh god, yeah, I haven't misread a forecast ever that badly, ever. Like sometimes you're like, oh, this is a bit more than I thought, but that was
like 30 knots more than that we thought.
100% different. That like there's no way I would have set off having known what that was going to be.
So what we did wrong was we didn't check the gusts. And
which we always do.
Which we always usually do.
It's just honestly just to screw up, so I interrupt you.
It was 11 knots and gusting up to 40 knots. How is that possible? I've never ever seen that on a forecast before. 11 knots gusting up to 40 knots. That's insane. So, okay, that happened. That was such a bad day for us not to read the gusts. And
the logic was that if we stayed, we left Stonaway expecting to have moorings, and then with the anchoring as a backup. And then we put a hook in, and the holding was not really as good as we'd hoped, and the swing room was not as good as we'd hoped at low tide. And the weather was sort of boxing the compass a little bit, like going round and round. So I was sort of faced with a really quite a miserable night on that in that anchorage where we'd be just resetting constantly, and it was a pretty precarious. It's not dangerous, but there's just lots of hidden it's not like it's a big open sandy patch and you've got room to swing and all is well.
So that's why we decided to move.
Which is why we left.
In hindsight, we probably would have stuck it out.
Yeah, I would have taken my chances in hindsight. Yeah.
But anyway, c'est la vie. We're going off again today. Honestly, after our experience the other day, and also for other reasons, it being that it's now winter, the boat is just a mess. Sailing is a mess.
Days are really short.
The days are really short. Honestly, we just want to get to where we're going to spend our winter season, which is going to be in most of our winter season in a place called near Oban.
So between the short days, the tides, like the various tidal gates you need to get through, and the constant gales coming through, it's just not a time to be up here sightseeing and dragging your feet. If you get an opportunity to make progress and all the stars align, you have to take it. You can't just be like, oh, it's a lovely day for sitting under a castle somewhere and taking a drone shot and doing nice things, because then the next week it's going to be all gales. So we've got to go. It's not the time for sightseeing. We've got to go. We're shifting into maintenance mode, but we've got another, 70 miles to do before we can sort of take a breath.
Yep.
So it's all about business, all about progress for the next couple of days. We've got a brief reprieve in the weather for about a week, and then it's going to go to custard again next week. So
indeed.
Go.
Our alternator doesn't sound good at the moment. Kind of rattling. Okay, tightened up the belt and just let it warm up a little bit. The noise is gone for now. It's obviously a problem, but we just need to get 70 more miles. 70 more miles, that's it. Until we find a place to stay for a little while and we can fix everything. Wee bit twisted. Okay, we very well might have accidentally gone the complete reverse of what we did the other day and left when there is absolutely no wind. There was meant to be a little more than just 5 knots that we're getting right now. There was meant to be at least enough that I thought, this would be a really nice downwind sail. It would be like, up to maybe gusts up to 15, 16 or something. But right now it's like 5 knots. There's no chance that we can sail down here. So beautiful scenery though. At least we're enjoying the scenery. We're just coming.
Pleasant drive through the countryside.
It is.
By way of water.
Yep, exactly. Where we're going, the anchorage where we're going, it's actually apparently one of the most remote places in UK.
Northernmost pub.
Northernmost remote pub? Most remote northern pub?
Yeah, the northernmost pub in the UK is what it says on that.
Okay. The northernmost pub, is that what you just said?
Yeah.
No, there's pubs further up there. Stornoway was a pub, that's north.
Oh. That's what it says.
Okay. We'll put its title in.
Just around this bend, there's it's called Kyle Rear. I've definitely said that wrong. But there's a note on the charts that has sort of standing overhang waves. You have to go through here with the tide, in summary, and you can't go through here with a serious southerly blow against the tide heading opposite that. So it's kind of a treacherous stretch of water, but I think we've nailed it today. We've got a fair tide, it's only just turned, and there's no wind. So fingers crossed, I've got this one right today. So the lovely gentleman who dropped off some whiskey to us yesterday. So cool, thanks mate, really appreciate that. And we really needed it. He said it gets up to 11 knots through here, and he was really casual about it when I asked him. He's like, don't worry, you won't get through there if you get it wrong, so it's no problem.
This is a beautiful anchorage.
Gotta love pulling up to a nice, fresh, quality looking mooring.
Well, that was a much more successful outing than our previous one. I am very glad to just have a very benign, easy passage in the bag. It's built up my confidence a little bit, and it was absolutely stunning along the way, so it kind of gave me a little more, I don't know, maybe a bit happier, just seeing like where we are, you know, why we're out here. It encouraged me to keep on going a little more.
After visiting Britain's most remote village, town, pub place, we went off along our way again.
Welcome to another fun-filled day of transversing the Scottish Highlands.
That was pretty well said, actually.
Thank you. We just left our anchorage pretty much in the dark, so now is the first time for some sunshine. And we're on our way to the next anchorage. I feel so bad because we're not getting to explore these pretty amazing, beautiful places that we're going into.
The Outer Hebrides and
Yes,
the Scottish Highlands
Inner
as a
Hebrides
place,
too.
and the Inner Hebrides. It's a place to explore. It's a source of much pain for Kiara and I that we have to sort of rush through here.
Yeah.
Because it's so nice. It's like Iceland with trees
Yeah, exactly.
and seals,
And red
small seals.
moors, I guess you'd call them.
Like they both have their own unique magic about
Yes.
them, but like it's truly a stunning place.
Truly
and I
is.
hope that we get to come back at a better time of year
Yeah.
and sort of take our time with it, because rush up in the morning,
I'm so gutted.
making miles just to get where you're going before the next gale flattens you is really not the way to do it.
Yeah, exactly. But as you have all seen, our lesson is learned, and I do never want to experience that gale again.
We're in limbo. We're in this, like, you can't really
Exactly.
explore. You do have to be somewhere safe, and the places we've been thus far have not had the resources to do any meaningful work.
Yep. I feel a little bit at the moment like we're camping on a floating vessel. Our boat just doesn't. It's not feeling like a home at the moment because everything is so unfamiliar to me. Like the dripping, the condensation, the wetness, the coldness. Like it's all just so unfamiliar, and it's like I'm getting dripped on at night with condensation. Our boat's crying. We're very cold. Finally, we have enough like outerwear, but our boat's just not prepared for cold weather.
Shall I start looking for a weather window down to the Canaries?
No, I don't mind the cold weather. I just want us to be prepared for it. And because this boat has only ever been in the Caribbean and we've taken her over the Atlantic, she's not too prepared for cold weather. So that's what we need to get her ready for. And that's right now my priority, so that I can feel like I have my home back.
It's a fun challenge too.
It is.
Like, you know, we've been tropical sailing for a long time, and we survived a summer way up north, and now we're sort of playing games with winter up north. So it's kind of another unique aspect of living a full-time liveaboard life.
Exactly.
That we're going to we'll try to overcome.
Yeah.
After our early start and the previous conversation, we made our way straight to the place that we'd be staying for winter, taking in the stunning scenery along the way.
Just arriving now, and the marina is over there and the main town of Oban is over there. So Adam's just tying up some fenders, and I'm going to have a go at trying to dock us. Not entirely sure where we're going yet, so we'll probably just tie up to the fuel jetty and see where they instruct us to go.